Welcome back. Round 5 of the RMNA 5 Standard Station. US POLITO. This is an elimination match, right?
Yes.
Both of these are tied with 7 points in the 1v1. So, winner of this match, they win it 2-0. They'll move on to the top 8. On to the double elimination, take place tomorrow. If they tie, if they split this 1-1, chance that they could be left out. So, very important match. Very important to win 2-0. So, a decisive win needed for both of these. And the US has looked great. And Torino has really stepped up as well. So, it could be a very exciting match. I'm very excited to see both of these teams go at it. Hopefully, fully functional robots. I want to see full 2 minutes like this. I don't know. Tell me your thoughts.
I mean, if you're just tuning in, we have 5 of some of the greatest high-stakes matches that we're going to go into. Each of these teams are fighting for a playoff spot. So the stakes are high. Everyone is looking to win and really make a name for themselves. We have to... Yes. They are really going for it. They're really cheering for the team. They haven't made top 8 since 2023, and they're looking to make another splash here in San Diego.
But US in our chat shouting out Kirby. Kirby, I just found out is the name of the robot. I thought it was the name of the driver. Not the name of the driver. It's the robot. The robot's name is
And it used to have a Kirby plush on it.
Plush.
It's just safety, you know, kind of, you want to protect the Kirby. You don't want it to get hit all the time.
Kirby is what?
Yes.
Right thing. It's going to be a great. Both teams already loaded into the field. We are just about to start this best of 2 match. I could see this one going either way. I think it favors NUS.
It does.
Lover, but
I'm rooting for the underdog here. I think the Italian team have what it takes. They're happy. The vibes are good here. We're looking at an Italian team that has been really consistent during inspection, and they're heading off right off right off the bat, really pushing. They're playing a more passive position here, but they're now exchanging shots right across the middle while they switch sides.
Getting stuck in the wall, you don't want to do that, especially if it's too much Virginia Tech. You go either way, both teams still very close in help. Virginia Tech in a slight lead, but still come back.
Italy is really hitting a lot of these walls. They're kind of losing a little bit of their pitch control, but they are able to nicely recover here. The lead still favors NUS here. But they do have a lot. They don't have any barrel overheating, so they could really make a push right here.
130 down on Virginia Tech.
They've really closed the gap here. This is a really close race here. Any mistake could be the end for the other team.
So really giving it to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech trying to find an opening, but unable to, as the POLITO robot able to defend itself and take back some of the health advantage that Virginia Tech had flawed.
This is still a 40 health difference. They're trading shots right here. Are we going to look at something? They're on their last leg right here. And the Italian team couldn't convert.
That was a close one. Roboto doing an excellent job spacing Virginia Tech, not letting them get close, not letting them get a good line of sight, keeping their distance, navigating around the arena, using the barriers to their advantage. Virginia Tech, though, with that impressive strategy, keeping the pressure up, being very patient with when they engage. I saw it several times. POLITO throwing out volley after volley, trying to just chip and get any type of damage they could on Virginia Tech. Much more measured in their approach. They were able to. Sorry, why do I keep saying NUS?
NUS.
Kirby. This is Kirby showcasing the ability in caliber right now, and they were just so diligent with how they went about this match. It was calm. It was calculated. It was close in some instances, but NUS still taking the victory. 1-0 right now. They need to win this next one in order to guarantee a spot in the double elimination bracket tomorrow.
Yes. NUS, we barely talk about them, but they're one of the more consistent teams that we see here at RoboMaster. So props to them going full caliber, going the distance here. They've really shown that they do belong here at the top 8 of 1v1. They've shown why they are a top team here at RMUL.
PA is not out yet. PA is right now sitting at 8 points, which has placed, if you look at the standings right now, it does look like they are in. However, there are several more matches to be played. Now, if UTA ties at 8 points with several of these other 7 and 7 teams, which is why I said it's important to grow, because if these 7 and 7 teams split, then they only go up to 8 points. UTA would then be tied with them. It would go to our tiebreaker, which is a hand calculation based off of the scored in each round. So there's a hand calculation that we will do later tonight, and the standings will be posted at the end of the day. However, for right now, what UTA needs to hope is that POLITO can take this round off of NUS and even it up. That way, neither team reaches that critical 10-point mark.
Right, because at least Polito has a chance to still make it into bracket. They can't necessarily guarantee at this point, but any chance is still a chance.
RMNA 25. We are about to get round 2. That's a 2 match.
And we're beginning Forza for the Italian team while they take the same routes that they did in the first round. We have first shots fired by NUS here.
So taking the lead so far.
They're taking the lead. They have a 10 damage lead here. Can they keep it?
From POLITO.
Oh, that is a lot of damage I see right there. But it's not. It's going to NUS now. Polito has the lead. We're seeing
POLITO bumping into that wall.
Damages are being traded left and right. And NUS is feeling the pressure now. They can't really maneuver as aggressively. Polito is at 130 right now. It's a 50-point difference. They've just extended it. We're hearing the chants from Italy. They are hyped for this map. They're fighting for their chance to advance to top 8 here.
POLITO trying to make it.
And they keep going. And they get it. They've widened the gap to 60 HP. Will they go aggressive here? Or are they going to play the patient game? They should play the patient game right here.
40 health left on this robot entry. They have a little bit of life left in them. 30 seconds left.
Polito, as
US out of ammo though, Polito can use this opportunity to claw it back.
they're resetting back to their usual spots here. They're playing the patient game. But this is Polito's advantage right here. 20 seconds remain. We're looking at aggressive play right here. They're going to push to the middle. There's an NUS is long at it. No. The poison. No.
Oh, what a heartbreaking performance.
No.
40 health left on the Polito standard. And what was it? 80 health left. What the Virginia Tech standard? 4 projectiles difference.
Yes.
It was such a close match. I can say Virginia Tech. I am so sorry, NUS. Kirby, outstanding job. Outstanding job from both Polito and NUS. That was such a close match.
That was indeed. They really, really fought to the end there.
That match had everything that you wanted to see from a life or death match. It had going down to like last few bars of HP. They did not give up. They kept trying. They kept trying to poke out, and they got Virginia US down so low. Fortunately, though, they ran out of ammunition. NUS being very efficient with how they engaged Torino, and in the end, that was the defining factor.
That was
nice match, definitely. Kirby fan, congratulations to NUS, and congratulations to Roboto for a job well done. This was one of the closest matches that we have seen with regards to a top-tier team like this.
exactly. Props to both teams. NUS really showing off that the more consistent robot wins here. They had the great accuracy. They had the resource management. Polito had the crowd behind them, but it wasn't enough.
Chants were echoing in the venue here. Matching Polito trying their teams. Fortunately, was not to be. Our next match will be another elimination match. AUU and Plato Samurai versus TAMU and Texas Aimbots.
That is another match that's going to decide some seeding, right?
Tied at 7 points. So, if either team wins 0, they can secure their spot in the top 8.
Yes. And TAMU has shown that they can still perform here in 1v1, but we're also curious, KU, this is their first time competing here at the RMUL?
Team from Japan. We have several teams from Japan, but this is the first time that Oedo Samurai has come to this competition.
Hmm. So they're definitely the underdogs here. Not many people really know, so I'm really excited to see what they pull out here. TAMU, great pilot control, great robot, great mechanical design. I really hope that they can really push KU to the edge right here and really show them what RMUL is about.
Great thing about this company that have these international teams talking about in US, POLITO, and AUU that have traveled so far, and they've really shown up in the competition. They've
Yes.
some great performances yesterday and today. Congratulations and thank you to both of them coming all the way here to North America, to San Diego, and giving us a chance.
And just another shout out to KU. They have shown some impressive robots here. The engineer that they're going to field for the next competition after 1v1. I'm super excited to see how they show off their engineer design. Just being able to field so many different robots with different capabilities, it's not an easy feat.
All right, so by my calculation right now, there are 4 teams that have guaranteed spots top 8, and that would be UW, SU, now US.
And US. They got their tickets to the top 8. And honestly, that's like a pretty solid top 4 right there.
4 spots left. Have several. No, we have 8 left on the docket right now. We have TAMU, then we will have RHIT versus Master, SFU versus Madison, and Georgia Tech.
I'm super excited, especially for that SFU UW-Madison. UW-Madison is just on the cusp of even cracking that top 8, so they're trying to really fight for another chance to continue playing on here in 1v1.
I have to look back. I may be wrong. I think every year there has been at least one new team make the top 8.
I think you're right, and this is just to show you how much the competition has grown. These teams with their newfound resources have been able to really push the bar on what these teams are capable of doing.
I think now the level of expertise demonstrated by these teams, not just from a strategy perspective. Saw it in that match there. Virginia Tech, I'm sorry, in US, pressuring, but being very diligent with how they engaged the team. Polito, being a little bit more aggressive.
Mhm.
They were throwing out their projectiles, launching several volleys. They were able to land quite a few of them, but in US, just so much more consistent, being able to deal out damage. That's what we're going to next match as well. Both of the Wado Samurai spots, they've had their struggles so far at this competition, but they've also improved throughout the competition.
Mm.
And right now, both of them are performing ordinarily well.
TAMU, I mean, they gotta stay true to their name, the aimbots. Let's see how accurate they are. And then for KUU, this is a team that no one has ever seen. They have the element of surprise. They have shown up and really produced some really solid robots that have really kind of pushed some teams not only in 1v1 but also in 3v3. They may not necessarily have gotten the results that that they really want, but they make for a great show here, Stephen.
You made a good point. Both of these teams are competing in the 3v3, and they have performed really well. The difference, I think, is the groups that they've got. TAMU, being in Group D, has, I believe, secured their advancement to the knockouts and the top 8. Oedo Samurai getting placed in Group B, the dreaded Group B, with
Death
just
group.
several really good teams. Torino as well was in Group B, mind you. So Oedo Samurai, this is their last chance to make it to the top 8.
So let's see. Looks like a lot of their teammates are here to kind of just cheer them on in spirit as they try to fight for their last play or for another spot in upper bracket.
Let's go aimbot, says Lickety Splits. Definitely, let's go aimbots. This is going to be a tough matchup, I think. Both of these teams very similar in capability, in my opinion. They have, some basic CV that I've seen at different times during the year. Both teams have shown me their CV. Both robots can move really well. Both teams have excellent strategy, and both teams prioritize their drivers. So very similar teams, I think. And this could be a very, very close match.
I think speed is the determining factor, honestly. I believe Tamu's the heavier robot here, so we'll see if they have any gearing ratio or some way to kind of get the edge on the speed here. But otherwise, it's probably going to be another more kind of tame, slower pace match here where the teams will kind of just take their positions and kind of like take pot shots at each other, just like the last match.
Well, and that weight factor could come into play if we end up with a tie at the end of this. You never know. We had it happen before between NUS and Duke, where both robots finished with the same amount of health and had to go to weight, but they weighed the exact same, so it was declared a draw. We had a tie. If it goes similar way, where both robots finish with the same amount of health, we could go down to a weight decision. And like you pointed out, Oedo, with the lighter robot, they may be at the advantage.
Right. That could be the deciding factor. I honestly hope it gets to even that point because we have that means we'll have a very fun, close game here on our hands. Both teams here are setting up on the field. Pit stop crew is double checking, making sure the final touches are ready so that these robots will perform up to their full standards. This is an important match. They're both pretty much fighting for the same spot in playoffs. So if one side gets 2-0, that guarantees them the top 8 position.
Yes, this is going to be a very important match here. At this point in time, I can't pick a favorite for this round. We will have to see what happens. You can see both teams working on their robots. TAMU doing some last minute screwing in, maybe some loose bolts, or is that
that might be like a GoPro or another camera right there. Maybe they're trying to get some footage.
Maybe it is a camera.
Maybe they're trying to create a highlight montage right there. Do you know if TAMU has a Mecanum drive here?
They do have a Mecanum drive.
Yeah, because I see KUU has an Omni drive, so that might be to their advantage while maneuvering this field.
Exactly. This will be two similar teams trying to make their statement and get to the top 8 here in this double elimination bracket. All right.
About to start very soon. Both sides' pit crews have left the field. Robots are working as intended. Field is being closed.
Both robots loading in now. You can feel the tension in the air as the crowd grows here at the 1v1 arena.
The match has started with TAMU going for an aggressive, but it looks like KUU hasn't moved at all.
Oedo Samurai not moving at all. Looks to be some sort of issue. Okay. Texas A&M not. All right, now they are engaging.
They did not move at all. Something happened there.
There does seem to be something wrong with Oedo Samurai. That was a very quick round. Oedo Samurai not leaving their square. TAMU, for a second, noticed that they hadn't moved and gave them a chance to move, which was very... I was honestly shocked that TAMU was offering a chance for Oedo to get out of their square and do something, given the high stakes of this match. However, there seems to be some sort of issue. Don't know exactly what it was yet, but that red infantry not moving
I think they were just as confused as we were. Honestly, I saw Oeda just still moving. They were able to yaw right there, but
Right, we saw their gimbal turning a little bit in the corner camera. You can see it right here, but the robot itself not moving. And we saw them fire a few projectiles before the match started. So
right.
this is very interesting.
I wonder if it's a jamming issue. But like,
If they were jammed, they still would have moved, you would think, though, right?
yeah, I would think. Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe they were trying to trick us into thinking that something else is going on.
Or playing possum. Well, we will see what the issue was when the head referee finishes his arbitration. Hopefully, it's not a serious issue with Uedo, because that would be very unfortunate if this was how their competition journey ended.
Yes, exactly. And for those at home, we do have the little team logos a little bit flipped here. Oeda is in the red corner and TAMU is in the blue corner. You will notice Oeda has the little purple cover for their hopper. That's how you know it's them.
All right, I have just received word from the head referee that we will be replaying this round due to a technical error. So, this is not the end for Uedo. They still have a chance. We will go again. We'll start round 1 over.
And then the field will reset.
So you see that score right now saying 1-0. There it goes. Back to 0-0. Both teams getting a chance to reset. But, that was some very fast movement from TAMU right out the gate, going to that corner and identifying the robot, launching them. So both teams being allowed back into the field to check on their robots, top off their hoppers. You saw that TAMU unleashed a volley of projectiles to eliminate the Uedo robot. They're going to be refueling that. And you can see here now the Uedo Samurai robot is moving and it is spinning. So it has functionality. And
it is shooting.
It's firing. So yes, the robot seems to have some functionality, which is good. So hopefully this round, they will be able to engage. Looks like TAMU taking some time to tighten down those screws some more. We saw them working on it before the start of the first match. I think that is a GoPro or
That's
some
a
sort
GoPro
of
switch
camera.
right there. Live action GoPro switch.
I like it. You get excellent footage from it. However, and maybe you can answer this. Does TAMU inspect with? They'd have to inspect with that weight,
They have
right?
inspected with it, yes.
If this goes to a tie, you gotta wonder, will that GoPro come into account? Will that play an effect on their overall weight?
It sure does.
That's going to be very interesting here. Both teams clearing out of the field now.
It's honestly to the detriment of TAMU because they kind of just revealed their hand early. So it looks like I think Oeda would know that they're just going to try to rush forward and try to flank on the right side from them.
That's a great point. TAMU exposing their strategy to go to that far side and engage Uedo right away. Maybe they go for the center this time. Maybe they go for the other side. Or maybe they try to trick Uedo out and go for the same side, do a repeat. Because you never expect someone to do the same thing twice sometimes, right?
You're right. I mean, I would call you crazy for doing that, honestly.
Right. So this will be a very interesting match. TAMU with a chance to go to the top 8. Uedo with the chance to go to the top 8. This is an elimination match for both of these teams. They need to take it 2-0 to confirm their spot in our double elimination tournament tomorrow.
Both teams are complete with their setup. Pit stops have cleared from the field. Pilots are getting ready. This match should be getting ready to start very soon. Both teams are looking in anticipation as they try to fight for their position here.
All right, here we go. All right, Uedo launching some projectiles early through the corner, doing some early damage to TAMU. TAMU taking some more damage, but Uedo taking some damage as well. Uedo not really moving from that corner. They are now moving around. Wow, some early damage on that TAMU infantry. Uedo with the lead right now.
Kind of have to feel scared for Uedo. They're kind of hitting the wall a bit too much. I wonder if that will kind of play into the nerves for these pilots.
That is very true, and you can see there TAMU taking advantage of the vulnerable position of Uedo.
And now TAMU's also hitting the wall. They're both feeling the pressure here. We got some exchanges here. TAMU, now the differential 70, and it looks like we're still exchanging volleys from each corner of the field here. Both teams resetting, but TAMU's going on the aggression here. They know that they don't have the advantage here, but Uedo is just holding stout here. really playing the covers well.
TAMU getting down low now to 70 health, 60 health. Oedo with 140, a commanding lead with just under a minute left. TAMU's going to have to be very careful here.
Power consumption is very high for both sides. They can't really act. They kind of have to cool down for a little bit right here while they reset. Slow game right here, but they're trying to get ready for one last engagement here. Will Oedo secure the last 6 shots to actually get the first round, or will TAMU sneak this one out from under them?
TAMU being able to chip down Oedo a little bit more. Critically though, TAMU not spinning. 60 health on the TAMU robot, 100 health on the Oedo. 4 projectiles is the difference here.
We got 20 seconds, folks, here. This is a tight match. They're trying to squeeze every ounce, see who bites first. TAMU needs to make the engagement here. But it looks like Oedo's going to aggression, knowing that TAMU has to make a move.
TAMU down to 50 health. This is going to be a nail biter, but TAMU cannot do anything.
3,
it is going to be Oedo's
2,
victory.
1. Oedo secures this. Time is up.
And it is Oedo's victory.
Oedo so happy that they have upsetted TAMU.
Great performance from both these robots. You know, we were concerned there in that first round that Oedo was not going to be able to compete because the robot did not move. We saw it in the setup time. It was moving, it was spinning, it shot some projectiles, but then once the round began, they were just sitting there, and TAMU was able to move forward. However, we determined that it was a referee issue. The round was replayed, and we saw the movement and accuracy from Oedo Samurai being able to take down TAMU in this first round. Now TAMU, with their backs against the wall, their tournament lives in the 1v1 against up for grabs now, they're going to have to split this 1-1 to have any chance to move forward into the top 8.
Exactly. If I'm in TAMU's position here, you got to feel the pressure right now. That pilot, I know TAMU really trains their pilots. They got to have those nerves under control for this match. This has got to secure them. They got to fight for this just to even get a chance to advance. And Oedo, they're just sitting cool, calm and collected. They know that they are sitting pretty here. They can not necessarily coast here, but they have to play to their advantage and still play to their game plan here.
Exactly. This is going to be such a high stakes round here. Both teams now clearing out of the arena. Texas aimbots getting connected to the server. Looks like Oedo still, there we go. Now they are connected. And just look at this HUD from Oedo Samurai.
This is a crazy HUD. Look at everything. This must have taken a lot of work trying to build all the elements here.
What an insane matchup we have here. This is going to be for a position in the top 8. With the victory here, Oedo Samurai can secure their progress to tomorrow to the double elimination bracket.
We're in for a heated game, folks. This is going to really be all for all the marbles here. Will Oedo secure their top 8 position, or TAMU make it interesting for the final seeding that's about to be calculated tonight? Who do you think is going to win, Steven?
I don't know. After that performance, I still think it could go either way. The accuracy, though, from Oedo gives me confidence.
And it looks like we have a little bit of an early start, but both teams are engaging. But I think they're playing it on. Let's keep going, folks. They're getting excited here. TAMU is starting off with a disadvantage, and oh wait, no, never mind. Oedo is down by 10. And we just exchanged a bunch of volleys right there. TAMU is retreating now, but I don't think they know that they're actually winning. Oedo has to go on the aggression here. TAMU is hitting some walls. They're going around.
Oh, Oedo is low. 30 health left on Oedo Samurai. TAMU trying to finish them off.
This is quite the
taking a lot
reversal
of
from last
damage in
round.
the process.
Oedo has to cool down. Their barrels overheating. They looks like they might have lost one of their shooting mechanisms, and now they just lost control of their robot. Oh no! TAMU can just secure the round right here. It's just 3 more shots, and TAMU's got the round. Are they going to go for it? TAMU tied it. This is insane.
This is so crazy. That match was so close.
Both teams fought valiantly. TAMU, even though backs against the wall here, were able to at least keep keep their chances alive here. Oeda, you kind of have to start to feel a little bit bad. You had the first win, and it was your chance to guarantee this win. I'm not sure what the tiebreakers are, but I hope both teams, they both deserve a spot here in top 8. I hope they get in, but I'm not sure how this is going to work out. We're going to have to see how the rest of the matches play out, Steven. What's the next match that we're going to look for?
Our next match will be between RHIT and McMaster. I will go ahead and look at my my standings right now. RHIT, one of our top 8 teams currently standing. So they are tied at 7 points with all the other 7-point teams. And McMaster, see where McMaster is. All right, McMaster with 6 points. So McMaster probably not going to make the top 8 at this point. However, they have the chance to play spoiler for RHIT here.
But you never know if McMaster just completely wipes the floor between RHIT. We saw TAMU and KUU kind of just split even. They only have 8 points now. So if they get 9 points, they're in.
That is true. That is true. But here's the thing. With a tie, each team will only get 1 point. So if McMaster ties with RHIT, RHIT would move to 8 points and then be in a tie with TAMU and Oedo Samurai and UTA. And McMaster would only go to 7 points. They would probably be eliminated at that point. In fact, they would be eliminated at that point. So McMaster, with a 2-0 win over RHIT, would move to 9 points. That would guarantee them a chance to make the top 8.
We'll see how they can fare against the king of optimization, RHIT. They push the limits on all those building specifications between armor module heights, placements of the armor module, even their shooting mechanism, and just how they've really developed their model-based systems. I'm really impressed at what RHIT has been able to develop over there.
RHIT, Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology, the Thornbots, in their third tournament, or sorry, their third RMNA, making a splash here. They have done so well.
Yes.
Both in the 1v1 and 3v3. They are hungry for a top 8 spot.
They surprised all of us last year when they kind of kicked out Colorado out of their own tournament. And here, they're ready to make a statement here. They're ready to show off that we belong here in the highest level of RoboMaster.
Right, exactly. It looks like some of the teams were a little bit eager. McMaster, eager to get into the arena. They got to wait for our staff to finish clearing out those projectiles. You can see they're just littering the floor, and this floor has become so scuffed at this point. You can see all the markings from the robots drifting around, slamming into walls. These robots go through a lot of abuse in these competitions.
Oh, of course. And with all the wall banging that each of these robots kind of go through, you kind of have to design for that in mind. You never know, these pilots are just really aggressive with their driving. So it's every mechanical engineer's nightmare whenever they see their poor creations going through the wall.
Yep. It's going to be so difficult to see who has the advantage in this match, because RHIT was looking really good early on, but McMaster has ramped up throughout the competition. Mm-hmm. And so right now, I would say it still favors RHIT, but McMaster has a chance, once again, if they can manage to eke out 2 victories to keep RHIT from moving forward.
Right. Looks like the 2 teams are getting ready to enter the field. I see McMaster is rolling with the mechanical wheel configuration, and RHIT's got the Omni wheel, of course, for 1v1. King of optimization here. They know what works here.
This is going to be a very tense match here between these 2 teams.
RHIT's on the red side, and McMaster is on the blue side. Both teams just getting set up, trying to communicate to the pilots, making sure all sub-assemblies are working and in order for a great match today. Looks like actually RHIT has got something planned. This is something that we typically see in our RMUC, but they got no cards here to kind of communicate to the pilots.
Some of our top teams, like UW as well, making use of the note cards. It's a very excellent way to communicate with your driver. Obviously, you can't communicate with them verbally. They're in another room.
Right.
But using those note cards, you can show through the VTM what you need the robots to do. So you can see, look and follow. Almost like a tutorial in a video game, right? It's like look left, look right, look up, look down. Calibrate your controller here. That is what RHIT is doing with their robot.
And
You
looks
see
like
it
they're ready.
spinning.
They're spinning. They're ready. Everything is good. Even the pit crew is telling them, "You've got it. Everything is good."
McMaster as well, already out of the arena with 30 seconds left. Both teams have exited the arena. McMaster hopping back in. Look, are they tracking?
They are tracking. Looks like
There's some rudimentary CV going on there. That is very exciting to see. That may play a factor. We know that our HIT has used CV on their Sentry in the 3v3 tournament. So this will be a very interesting match here.
the start of this match, I'm expecting RHIT to just, kind of just rush in. I think they believe they have the better capability here over McMaster, but we'll see. Maybe RHIT just takes a more passive approach.
It will be very interesting to see. We saw it in the previous match, the strategy involved between the two teams. We are going to see now round one between RHIT and McMaster taking an early engagement. RHIT taking the worst end of it. McMaster in the lead right now.
And
Losing even more health is RHIT. McMaster dealing a lot of damage to that Thornbot robot.
They're barely even spinning, and they're just still winning these exchanges here.
RHIT just taking chunk after chunk.
And they're just, at this point, trying to play a passive game. They're trying to ricochet shots now. And they're just down to 30 HP. What happened?
McMaster just deleting the RHIT infantry.
McMaster just said, I'm going to copy you if you're going to play that game. They're matching it perfectly. And now we got the exchange right here.
And McMaster taking round one in this best of two match. This is critical now. RHIT needs to take the second round if they want to tie at 8 points and have a chance of moving on to the double elimination bracket tomorrow. McMaster, with the win, could secure themselves a spot in the double elimination bracket. So this is a high stakes second round coming up that we have.
I don't even know what to think at this point, Steven. This is crazy. McMaster just surprised all of us. I think we all just counted them out. But here, they're just showing off. They can really perform here.
And we saw it during that setup period. They had some CV, it looked like. I wonder if that allowed them to track the RHIT robot when it was peeking around those barriers, exposing those armor panels, if that allowed McMaster the second that it needed to lock on and deal out massive amounts of damage.
And looks like we'll see if the pit crew actually shows us a little bit right here. But they got that armor module ready just to maybe do some final tests. Looks like they might be testing it a little bit right here.
You're right. You can see that armor panel on the ground. And it is moving with the armor panel.
There's a little bit of latency, but it seems like it's been working for them in real time. So I think they should just keep going with what they got.
You can see RHIT outside of the arena right now. All right, both teams exiting the field. Still have some time left in the setup period. Both teams, though, seem to be happy with the state of their robots. RHIT needs to win this one, again, in order to secure a chance at moving on to the double elimination bracket tomorrow. And McMaster, with a win, I believe, would secure their spot in the top 8. So, all the stakes riding on this second round.
This is crazy, folks. We never thought this would have happened. We saw all the teams that were tied at 7. We should have kept looking down a little bit at McMaster, who had 6 points.
It is going to be such a close match. The thing that surprised me about McMaster there was that fire rate. It was so consistent and so rapid. They were able to dish out so much damage in a short period of time.
Great control, honestly. They didn't overheat at all. They just knew when to engage and then disengage. They've been playing the position game immaculately.
All right, we're about to begin round 2. Both teams
RHIT looking to be more adaptive here, approaching McMaster here.
McMaster taking the early damage.
They're dancing. They're trading a lot of volleys.
And McMaster
it looks
getting
like
stuck against that wall.
And they're just done, are they? They're just standing there.
McMaster now moving, but they are down to 110 health. RHIT with a chance to capitalize on the weakness.
Oh me, oh my. This is not where you want to be if you're a McMaster. You're down 120, 111, and they're stopped again. RHIT, they could just finish this right here.
McMaster down to 30 health. RHIT down to 140, but McMaster not being able to move. And RHIT securing round 2 in this critical best of 2 match.
They got the round they needed, and now them, TAMU, and Oeda are all tied at 8 points for this final seed. I don't even know who's going to make it now, Steven.
Well, to add some more spice to that, UTA has 8 points, and Purdue has 8 points. We are building up another tie at the 8-point. So, with that even split between RHIT and McMaster, McMaster will be eliminated. They have now only achieved 7 points. So McMaster, they are done. But congratulations for coming out here and showcasing such incredible robots. That fire rate from that McMaster infantry, really, really scary.
Lethal. Crazy.
It reminded me, honestly, of some of the NUS infantries that we have seen in 2023 and 2024, which is an insane fire rate, being able to dish out so much damage so quickly.
Of course. It's honestly, I'm very happy with the outcome of that match, even though I'm sure RHIT doesn't want this and they wanted to just secure the 2 rounds. It just surprised all of us.
So we have 2 more matches left. We have SFU versus UW-Madison. This is another tie-breaking match, I believe. Let me double-check the standings just to be sure. All right.
SFU is a very interesting team. I call them the super rookie because they were rookies that kind of exceeded expectations last year. And now they've really just shown that they can dominate at the highest level, and they don't care about age. They don't care about how old all these other teams are. They just got all of their engineering down to a T.
That is so true. And yes, SFU and UW-Madison are both right now tied for 7 points. So the winner of this match, if they take it 2-0, will secure their spot in the top 8. If they split 1-1, like we've been seeing, a lot of these matches been being split 1-1, then it will go to a tiebreaker, which we will calculate at the end of the day. So a lot of uncertainty still here in this competition.
Yes. But this makes for some great RoboMaster content here, Steven. We don't know what's going to happen. And for you, I kind of feel a little bit bad. You're going to have to go home and double check, triple check, quadruple check all of the numbers to make sure the tiebreakers are correct for these teams.
This is going to be so crazy. These are such high-stakes matches here towards the end of the day. And this is what we want to see. We want to see teams competing with it all on the line here at the end, trying to get to the next day, trying to keep their dreams alive of going forward to the double elimination bracket, where they will be able to challenge the likes of CU and UW for the title of 1v1 champion.
Of course, this is, even though it's not as popular as 1v1, this is still a respectable tournament to win. This is not easy. Man's not necessarily completely different, but like a different configuration to really perform. Or you just need to really make sure that all your systems are in check to make sure that you can perform at the highest level. We're waiting for SFU and Wisconsin-Madison. We see SFU already prepared to enter the field. Wisconsin's also here. Both teams are ready. They're hyped.
Just waiting for the field to finish getting cleaned up. You can see all those projectiles in the corners, just showing how many were launched by the previous 2 teams. This is there's 200 projectiles allowed per team. And several of the matches that we've seen here at the end, both teams have run out of projectiles. So there are 400 projectiles on the ground, and oftentimes, you get a little bit extra as your flywheels take some time to slow down. So you can get a few extra shots out of your barrel. So there's probably more than 400 projectiles on the ground right now.
Yep, the pit crew is not going to enjoy the cleanup, but they make for some exciting matches. These teams have really pushed the distance on all of these matches here. Both teams are getting ready to field. We're going to have on the blue side, Wisconsin-Madison, and on the red side, we're going to have SFU.
All right. Like I said, both teams now in position, standing outside of the arena in their respective corners. It will be SFU on the blue side and UW-Madison on the red side.
For those who don't know, SFU is Simon Fraser University. They are the new kings of Canada here. They are the best Canadian team. Wisconsin-Madison, still a relatively new team in the Midwest, but we're also seeing quite a bit of development in the Midwest region. A lot of teams popping up. They're really showing that the Purdue Conference has really helped train them to be more competitive as a region as a whole.
And that's got to be really exciting as Purdue and as any member of the Midwest to see that your efforts are paying off. This conference is yielding dividends. You are making yourselves better. You are making your region better. That's got to be exciting to see. And like you said, UW-Madison, first-year team, rookie team this year. I got to say, if they can secure this 2-0 and move on to the top 8, they may be my rookie of the year. I still really like UTA, but UTA right now is currently tied with several other teams at 8 points. UW-Madison has a chance to secure it. Now, obviously, if UTA also progresses through tiebreakers, then I think that's still up for debate.
Mm-hmm. And both teams are currently sitting tied at 7 points each. So they're on equal footings here. I would be mind blown if they both split this series and we have, 5 teams that are at 8 points?
This is insane. You've got 5 teams right now with 8 points. 4 teams have already secured their spot. So that leaves 4 spots left. So you've got 5 teams tied with 8 points, fighting for 4 spots. And you have 2 matches to go.
And that just means someone is just going to be left behind. And that's got to hurt.
Several someones. And that's so heartbreaking, you know, when you're right there out the edge and you lose to some just very complex, like nitty-gritty tiebreaker. It's almost like when you manage to deal exactly the same amount of damage and you go to robot weight and it's like 0.1 kilograms and you're like, so you're telling me if I took off that zip tie, I would win? And that's just how it goes.
Yes. Looks like SFU Team Ascension is done with their pit stop while Wisconsin-Madison is still doing their test, but they're shooting beautifully, honestly. Impressive control here. They're leaving and exiting the stage here, getting ready.
And I misspoke earlier. It will be SFU in the red corner and Wisconsin-Madison in the blue corner. Both teams demonstrating full capability. You see that UW-Madison robot showcasing its ability. But SFU has been doing so well, and this standard has been performing so well.
We've been seeing a theme here this competition. We got on the blue side, they got Omni Drive, and on the red side, we got Mechano Wheel. I don't know if you've been tracking, but I think it's been split, right?
We've been splitting.
Yeah.
All these Mechanum versus X-Drive matchups, been splitting 1-1.
So maybe it's not nearly as clear cut as we thought it would be.
Maybe not. This is definitely one of the closest matches we had, and in fact, several of the closest matches we had. UW-Madison doing really good so far to get this far as a first-year team. SFU as a second-year team, just a second-year team, already showing tremendous amounts of growth.
SFU sitting pretty, just still calm and collective, while Madison's ready to go, spinning already. They're not worried about about their battery levels. They're ready to just show off and make a splash.
All right.
And the match starts with Wisconsin actually going on the aggression. SFU was not expecting that. They're kind of having to try to reset. And both the teams' barrels are starting to approach their limits.
Very even. But UW-Madison being very aggressive in that opening engagement, in the lead right now just by 10 HP.
That was some close engagements right there, and they both traded even. This is an even match, folks. Ooh, but Madison kind of just fumbled there. They tried to go on aggression, but got caught off while SFU peaked. And it looks like SFU confirmed the kill. Impressive job from SFU to stay calm and collected.
Really good job by SFU to secure that victory there in round 1. But as we've seen, round 1 gives you no indication of what could happen in round 2. This could still go either way, and I would not be surprised to see UW-Madison come back, reset their robot, make a few changes, tell their driver, hey, don't rush right at them this time. Play a little bit more slowly and get a different result. This is going to be so close.
And I misspoke, Steven, but getting a closer look at SFU, they don't necessarily just have a mechanism drive. They have a swerve drive. They're able to change the ratio on their wheels to get the optimal ratio for what they need, either peaking or just going straight across.
And that turret on the SFU infantry, so precise. And that is, we've seen it in several of the previous matches, that precision is so important, and accuracy, not wasting your projectiles, because you only get 200 projectiles. And we've seen it before. I'm thinking specifically to POLITO versus NUS, where they ran out of projectiles.
There is a little bit of confusion going on in the field.
Timeout.
Looks like they're starting a new timeout because they gotta. Wisconsin-Madison's gotta fix some things. There's something going on here.
Looks like they are doing some repairs on that robot. We are in a team technical timeout.
Looks like there's something going on with that wheel. We don't want a repeat of what happened to Wash U with their wheel just flying off. That's kind of like the downside with the Omni wheel. Sometimes, depending on how you mount that wheel, it could just fly off. You don't have your set screw on correctly.
Definitely. Hopefully, UW-Madison can make the required repairs here.
I hope they make this nice recovery right here. Looks like everything should be all right. The pit crew is exiting the field.
We have a little bit of time left in the team technical timeout. You can see UW-Madison testing out that robot.
Looks like they're shooting pretty well, so they got the thumbs up from the pit crews.
60 seconds left.
All right, 60 seconds left in the technical timeout. We are required to use all 60 seconds.
Oh, someone watch that.
All 60 seconds. SFU, honestly, just taking the time to chill. They got nothing else here to really worry about. All you got to do, deep breaths here. You got your first win. You're one win away from just guaranteeing a spot here and avoiding the death that is the magic number 8 here.
This is going to be a very, very tense 30 seconds here as the team technical timeout runs out. UW-Madison has left the field. We saw that robot spinning, and we saw it launching projectiles. So it can do both of those things. The question is, can it translate? Is that wheel tight enough to allow for the movement and maneuvers that you will need to avoid SFU?
Another question is, honestly, can they translate and just do it well? Are they just hitting the walls too much? Because any collision here could be catastrophic for either side. We've seen it time and time again. When you hit the wall too much, the robot kind of just shuts down and just stops working. And then the other team can just capitalize off that.
This is an important match for UW-Madison. They need to split this with SFU if they want to have a chance of moving on to the double elimination bracket.
Both teams getting ready. 15 seconds still remaining on the timeout. Not really much to do here. Kind of feeling the air of uneasiness right here.
See both robots getting ready.
Nice little feather
countdown for round 2. Round 2 will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
Just kidding.
Never mind. Oh, here we go. And we got a fight on the right-hand side. Looks like both robots are really pummeling each other with shots. Kind of just taking some cheap shots right here. Both teams are roughly the same HP here with a slight edge to SFU. But it looks like
UW-Madison getting an excellent amount of damage onto SFU infantry. SFU trying to hide behind that barrier. UW-Madison going to that top barrier.
What a beautiful exchange from Wisconsin-Madison. This is exactly what you want here. You have the health point lead, and you can kind of dictate the pace here. And they are. They're going aggressive here.
And UW-Madison chewing down even further. SFU with 20 HP left needs to be super careful.
Madison, if I were them, I just play patient here. SFU has to engage here. You can. And
oh
SFU,
no!
What?
SFU manages to claw back. UW-Madison had the advantage, and they turned their back on SFU. You can't do that in a critical match like this. SFU was ready, and as soon as UW-Madison turned to retreat and reposition, they engaged. Excellent strategy from SFU. Unfortunate turn of events for UW-Madison. That was so close.
How did SFU even get those shots? I blinked and they're gone. Madison was gone.
That rate of fire from SFU, really impressive, and the accuracy, the critical component, the accuracy, landing most of their shots, being able to quickly chew through the health bar of UW-Madison. Securing their spot in the top 8 will be SFU.
And joining them would be Colorado, Penn State, NUS, or excuse me, UW, and yeah, NUS.
All right, so 5 teams now confirmed in the top 8, and 5 teams tied at 8 with one more match to go. Duke versus Georgia Tech.
Duke got the 7 points, correct?
Duke is another team tied at 7 points. Georgia Tech, unfortunately, not in contention. Well, actually, I stand corrected. If Georgia Tech manages to take this down 2-0, they will secure themselves a spot in the top 8. If
Please.
Duke manages to take it down 2-0, Duke secures themselves a spot in the top 8.
My heart can't take it anymore. There's so many teams so close here.
If they split 1-1, then Duke would go into a 6-way tie with UTA, TAMU, KUU, Purdue, and RHIT. And Georgia Tech would be eliminated.
For 3 spots, too.
For 3 spots. Such an intense match we have up here. We've just had intense match after intense match, high stakes after high stakes. This is the final match of the day. Both teams, their lives on the line. They need to lock in. There's a lot of excitement going on right now. They've seen all the other teams come before them, just so close to making it through, and a lot of them splitting. Neither one of these teams wants to split. Georgia Tech doesn't want to split because that eliminates them. Duke does not want to split because that puts them into a tie-breaking scenario of which they might lose out. So, lots of things at stake here in this final match.
And Duke is a new team, right? They were one of the old guards.
They're quote-unquote new. They are VT Junior or VT Senior, whichever way you want to look at it. The founding member of Duke is a RoboGrinder alum.
Okay.
And their robot is I believe it's the 2022 VT Infantry. So it's not a new robot. It's a tried and true proven robot, one that is very, very scary and has won countless matches before. GT, also an experienced team. However, they haven't had as much competition here as at RoboMaster NA due to various technical difficulties or logistical challenges that they have faced. They have not been as present. So you have Duke, a quote-unquote new team with old faces, versus Georgia Tech, an old team, but with not a whole lot of experience.
That's honestly kind of funny because during inspection, Duke has kind of adopted the brilliance of what duct tape can do to a robot. But not only that, the VT duct tape that they used in 2021. So it kind of just comes full circle. We got VT.
The hazard tape. The hazard tape makes its return.
It makes its return, and we will see it very shortly, as looks like Duke is ready, and so is GT.
Going to be a very tense match. Duke, with a win, would guarantee, again, that we get a first-year team, quote-unquote, first-year team, into the top 8.
Yes. And the tradition continues, where a newcomer will surprise the old guards here.
Very, very tense matchup coming up. This will be the last match of the day, but we will be back tomorrow for the double elimination bracket. So be sure to tune in. And we will go through the entire bracket tomorrow, all through till we decide the 1v1 champion.
Yes. This is such a thrilling and exciting day today, Steven. All these teams just fighting for the last few spots right here. We're just seeing game after game after game. We're just seeing a lot of these teams sort of crumble under the pressure, but also other teams try to make it a miraculous recovery. SFU being the most recent one.
Very, very true. Very, very true. All right, looks like both robots are moving to their positions on the outside of the field. See that Duke infantry going over to the red square will be Duke in the red, and it will be Georgia Tech in the blue.
Honestly, I prefer them to be a little bit switch. Duke is always known for their blue, but at this point, they kind of have to represent the red side here.
It's going to be such a close match. If I had to pick right now, I think Duke is the stronger team.
Duke is the stronger team.
Duke is the team that tied with NUS, not just split, actually tied. In the first round, they went the distance, all 2 minutes. Both teams finished with 30 health, and they weighed the exact same.
Oh, one of those. What was the tiebreaker, Steven, that ended up oh no, actually they tied.
There was no tiebreaker. It was just a tie.
That was just a tie. Oh man.
There is no criteria beyond that.
Wow. Has that ever happened before?
It is the first time in my mind that we have had we've had ties before. But this is the first time in my mind where we have had a match tie in 1v1 due to the weight criteria.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very, very bizarre set of events that happened. But right now, none of that matters. All that matters is this match right here between Duke and Georgia Tech. Team Robo Rambler versus. Hold on a second. Looking
Azure.
for the Duke banner. Azure. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Azure bot. That's their name.
Both teams getting ready to set up here, reloading up their hoppers with as much projectiles as they need here.
You can see that Georgia Tech robot in the blue corner getting loaded up. And it's such a clean robot too. Such a small, simple design. And then you see that classic caution tape, the black and yellow and white color scheme for that old Virginia Tech infantry, now the star of the Duke team.
Mm-hmm. And we also see on the Georgia Tech side, they actually make use of the good old floaties for protection on the barriers and the walls of the field. So glad that they can make a comeback and maybe even be represented.
You know, it's such a simple and effective method. I'm surprised more teams don't use it.
Mm-hmm. And I just love how GT actually just beautifully kind of like incorporate into the design, almost looks seamless. Almost looks like it's just on like floaties or little like flotation devices.
All right. 30 seconds left in the setup period. But both teams have left the field. So right now we are just waiting. Both teams staring down at each other. The tension is palpable.
We got 15 seconds before the match is beginning. Looks like GT. Oh, they were trying to spin, but maybe a little bit too early. They're going to just start it at the start of the match. While Duke kind of just stands there menacingly, trying to kind of gauge their opponent. They do have that slight slit, so they can kind of a little see where they're coming from. We'll see if they will get caught off guard from maybe the right flank from Duke's perspective. Who do you think is going to take the first shot here in this match, Steven?
If I had to pick, my money's got to be on Duke.
Duke. I also see that this is a design, and the match has already started. Duke is going for a slower approach, and GT is also going for a slower approach. GT's kind of looking
gimbal though on that Georgia Tech robot, not really cooperating.
It's having a hard time. It looks like Duke is just kind of getting all the shots that they want here.
But they are launching projectiles back, being able to damage Duke a little bit, but taking so much damage in return.
This, honestly, looks very heavily sided on Duke, and they just secure the win right there.
And Duke just returns to their red square. Calm, cool, collected, business as usual.
Business as usual, Steven. This is something that honestly I wouldn't have expected coming out from Duke, but it makes so much sense that a former VT alumni is kind of just taken this school and just said, "Hey, I want to start a RoboMaster team," and just like repeat the success I had here.
Exactly. And it's cool to see the growth of RMNA as you get alumni from different schools going to start new teams at other schools. You get siblings and family members of RoboMaster students starting their own teams at their school and friends. It's growing so organically, but so fast at the same time.
Yeah. And honestly, it kind of speaks on just like RoboMaster as a whole. We have so many passionate people who, even after graduating, still wants that itch, still wants to kind of have that RoboMaster kind of edge to it. Because there's nothing like it in terms of the collegiate level. We don't have this kind of airsoft style kind of robotics competition with computer vision elements for essentially creating your aimbots.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Duke definitely showcased why they are one of the top teams at this tournament in that first round. Georgia Tech having some issues with the gimbal control. You can see them ready right now, but Duke looking just so scary right now.
So scary indeed, Steven. Match is about to start in 30 seconds right here. Both teams are ready. They're ready to go. It's just a matter of time before they start to engage again. We saw Georgia Tech being aggressive in that first round. Do you think they're going to do that again? I feel like they're just going to fall back a little bit to more of their default style and play around corners.
I would agree with you, but I think Duke is going to just try to push the envelope on this one. I think they're going to try to end this quickly because they want to get on. They want to get home. They want to work on the robot, make sure it's tuned up for tomorrow.
Yeah, or they might just want to see the salty sweet that's going on across from us. There's some crazy energy going on in that other field there, but they got to focus on this match here first because it determines some of the final seedings for the 1v1 match. And match is starting now. Looks like GT is taking that more passive approach right here. And they're trading shots, but they're not really hitting anything against Duke. They just lost 80 HP just like that in a snap. And then they just pause their spinning and they're just done.
Wow. That's not the way you want to go out if you're Georgia Tech. But still, I'm happy to see them here at the competition.
Right.
Last year, we missed them, unfortunately. This year, they're back. And I'm just happy that they were able to compete both in 1v1 and 3v3.
Yes, it's such a great sign to see that even though they don't even compete like last year, they're able to make a comeback and actually bring that energy that they need to really be competitive. I'm glad they made it a little bit interesting here for our Duke team. And I can't wait to see.
So
more.
Here are my calculations so far, and these are not official. We will release the official standings later tonight. But here's my hand calculations. At number 1, you have CU. At number 2, you would have UW. Number 3, you would have PSU. Number 4 would be NUS. Number 5 would be SFU. And number 6 would be Duke. Now, 4 through 6 could change depending on how the tiebreaker shakes out. But that leaves 2 more slots for the top 8. And there are 5 teams in contention. That would be UTA, TAMU, KUU, Purdue, and RHIT. So, we are going to sign off for tonight, and we will be back tomorrow with the double elimination 1v1 bracket. But, Steven, it's been a pleasure commentating with you.
Steven, likewise.
All right, we're going to sign off, y'all. But y'all have a good night and be back with us tomorrow.
Peace.